Hi, I'm Mike Ryan. Turquoise can be rare because of its grade, and many of you are familiar with the turquoise grading system, TGS, that I developed, which grades only natural turquoise from mid-grade to high mid-grade, high grade, very high grade, and the very elusive gem grade. Only 0.1% of all turquoise. It can also be rare because of the mine. We all know the well-known mines. They're the 7 classic mines in Nevada, the big 4 in Arizona, Kingman, Sleeping Beauty, Morenci, and Bisbee. But there are so many smaller mines, many of them in Nevada, that have never had very large production at all, have put out some beautiful turquoise, and they're very rare, very hard to find. Or what you really want for the collectors is what is both rare by grade and by mine. And we're going to take a look at some of those in this video. We'll start with a very famous turquoise. In fact, you can watch a whole video on that on our blog about blue wind. And I encourage you to take a look at that video. We see an example of blue wind here. This is just so rare, so hard to find. I'm really happy to be able to provide a selection of that for you to see. The next one we're going to look at is Blue Thunder. Now this is something you probably have never seen before except here. When I was visiting Tony Manzini in Austin, Nevada, he showed me this turquoise that he was calling BL Blue. I said, "What is BL Blue?" And he said, "Well, I was out with my mining partner and we were hunting deer hunting, and we saw this float. And this was the beverage that we were drinking at the time." Well, you can imagine what that was. I said, "Tony, you may not want to use that name and go up against these large beverage companies." So they relocated it under Blue Thunder. And this mine is in the area near Austin where the McGinnis mines and a number of other mines are located. The next one we see is Thunder Mountain. This is a mine owned by Shreve Savelle, and it has been showing some just really beautiful turquoise, and this is among the highest grade that they've had coming out, really gem grade turquoise. Very special, and it's very special to me because it's a producing mine, and they're still out there trying to get more turquoise. Next, very hard to find, very small production. When I visited this with Bruce Woods, and the Pyute is right between Godber Burnham and Demelli. And we drove by and I could barely even notice it was a mine. It was just this little hole in the ground. Very low production, has not been worked very much. And Tony Cotner is the one that is most associated with Pyute. Here's an example of gem grade Pyute, very hard to find in the marketplace. Tyrone is a well-known name because it is one of the few turquoise that comes up in Turquoise in America Part 1. And these were the mines that were run by the Azure Mining Company near Silver City in the Burro Mountains. And it got the name Tyrone later on in the 70s when a concession was given out. And that's when this turquoise was brought to market. Blue Diamond, very famous mine, and I'd like to read you a little bit from the Stories of Turquoise in Turquoise in America Part 2. We see this beautiful example of blue diamond. And this is what Bruce Woods is saying, and Bruce is the one with his wife Jerry who has Godber Burnham. "I've been mining all my life. We have the Blue Diamond, Nevada Blue, Zuni, and Moonglow. The only worse mine to access than Nevada Blue is what they call the Papoose down the Reese River. That mine was unbelievable trying to get up there. Ron Hammond was like my dad. He basically raised me. Clyde Wright and Jimmy Allen are the ones that found the blue diamond, probably in the 60s. Jimmy also had what they called the Blue Goose in Grass Valley. Ron Hammond and Joe Morse went in as partners and bought the blue diamond. Matter of fact, that's when Ron first started mining turquoise. He was an underground miner out of Butte, Montana. So you get an idea here of the personal nature that you get, really get a feel for the people who are involved in the stories of turquoise in Turquoise in America, Part 2. We have, last but not least, Super X. And Super X is a fascinating story. The Edgar twins, Dick and Ben, worked together on that, and Dick and had his family out there in a cabin at Super X. And you can read about that by stories by Rex Edgar in Turquoise in America, Part 2. And when they first found the float there at Super X, the reason it got the name Super X is because they found a box of ammo, an empty ammo box of Super X ammunition. So I hope you've enjoyed this overview of a Collector's Corner, some very rare, both by grade and by mine.